So let's talk about the 2013 Ninja 300. This is Kawasaki's newest bike, and it was released along with the new 636, which is the ZX6R. They're bringing back the 636. If you're familiar with it, I think it was 05 or 06. They quit making the bike with 636 cc's. Went down to below 600, like every other bike in its class, with the exception of the Triumph Daytona 675. And then it was a really popular bike. It was still highly sought after they quit making it. So they decided to bring it back. I think it was a good decision. It's probably going to be a killer bike once they finally have all the tests out versus the other offerings. The CBR for 2013 is not out yet. That's probably going to be revised to compete with the ZX6R. But back to the Ninja 300. I know I haven't posted a video for you guys in a while. I picked one of these up. Only one of two in, I want to say, 200 miles of me. They just hit dealership floors, and most dealers haven't even gotten one in yet. They're still waiting. I'm not going to hit every little revision that you've probably already read about on Kawasaki's website. I'm just mostly going to talk about the things that Kawasaki doesn't tell you, like how does it ride, or maybe you're tired of the same motorcycle magazines, the same people writing the same lousy articles about bikes. So anyway, starting off with just first impressions, riding the bike, the first time you get on it. Power, it's hard to say what I expected as far as power. It felt more like a baby 650R, just how smooth the engine is. It has a ton of mid-range power compared to the old 250s. So much that when you're accelerating over 9,000 or 10,000 RPMs, you don't feel any more pull at that point. So you could look at that as the top end is lacking, but I think this bike has more than enough power for what it is. So I prefer to look at that as it just has monster mid-range power for such a small displacement bike. As far as the handling goes, I'm used to the CBR, so I'm used to the awesome steering damper that Honda has, the HESD Honda Electronic Steering Damper. That's variable based on your speed. So the low speed stability is not nearly as good. When you're coming up to a stop or something, the bars are a little wobbly because they're so loose. And they don't tighten up like a CBR. But if you wanted to rig a steering damper to it, I'm sure it's possible. Not really necessary though, in my opinion. It's just kind of a waste of money. This thing is $47.95. Good luck getting it for less than MSRP, unless you want to wait a few months. Maybe pick one up in the north in the winter and you can save a little bit of money, but even then, I wouldn't expect to save a lot for such a low MSRP bike compared to what you're getting. You're getting one of the newest bikes they have to offer. You're getting a larger engine over the 250. You're getting fuel injection finally, which I know was available abroad, but in the U.S. it was carbureted, which is what kept me away from the 250s. Even though I've owned two in the past, I never bought the new redesigned one, just because they stuck with carburetors on a 2012, really. The white's the only color that was available. I decided not to wait for the black. I do like the white, probably girly compared to black, but I guess I don't really care. Let's see what else here. Only little nitpicky things I would have for the bike. The steering lock. You can't just turn the handlebars over full lock and then lock it. You have to kind of put them like I would say, 6 inches or so away from full lock to the left for it to work. I'm sure I'll get used to it, but it's kind of annoying right now. The brakes. The rear brakes, more than adequate for this bike. I don't use a rear brake. I do combined braking, but the most of your stopping power is coming from the front. And I'm not so sure that the stopping power is inadequate. I think it's just that the lever feel is not that good. It requires a really firm pull on the brakes. The brakes don't really feel like they bite, which is kind of what I'm used to on a Super Sport. But I'm sure maybe stainless steel lines upgraded will improve brake feel a little bit. I probably won't even bother with it. I'll probably just get used to them as is, because when I had to really get on them, they seem to have plenty of power there. It's just, be expected to really have to pull on it. The ABS version of this bike only comes in the Green and Ebony Special Edition. So not only are you paying a $500 premium for the ABS, you also have to pay the $200 premium for for the special edition model. I'm hoping that in future years that's not the case, but I've already bought one, so I probably will stay away from ABS. I was really looking forward to getting anti-lock brakes because this is more of a commuter bike. I'm not going to be taking this to the track or anything. Maybe someday, just for fun, but that's really what the CBR was intended for. As far as the design goes, very subjective. I think it's gorgeous. The new exhaust looks great. It looks much higher quality than the previous one. And the fit and finish on this bike, you know, with all the exposed Allen key bolts and the way the fairings match up and everything, it's not a Honda. It is a Kawasaki. It's not going to have the build quality that you're used to from Honda, but as far as I know, as far as my experience, which is pretty extensive on Kawasaki, incredible bikes. They're really reliable. You'll have little build quality issues like buzzing and things like that I had on the 650, but to me that's not really an issue because it's a really reliable bike, and this one to me is a really reasonable price for what you're getting. Gas mileage so far is phenomenal. The first fill up, it was about 73 miles per gallon, and I wasn't riding it hard, but I wasn't riding it easy either. And now it looks like I've got 170 miles or so on this tank, and I've still got 2 bars left. There's only 6 bars on the fuel gauge. So let's move over to that. Check out the new display. $182 on the odometer. It's got dual trip meters and a fuel gauge. There's no temperature gauge. There's other warning lights, whatever assorted stuff. Nice integrated, or flush mount, not integrated, flush mount front turn signals there. So you don't really have to pull those off for something better. I mean, you might want to anyway, but I'll probably leave it. I'm happy with it. I'm going to switch to a shorter brake lever at least. Probably a shorter clutch lever. Got all out of focus there, sorry. But as far as the handling of the bike goes, aside from the low speed stability, it handles great. It's real light up top. I don't know if, I think this is still a metal fuel tank. Sounds like it. It doesn't feel like the fuel's up top anymore. You don't feel it sloshing around. I remember that on some of my old 250s. And it's just, the thing, it rides like a dream compared to the old 250, realistically. I rode it with a passenger, and so we have a combined weight of over 300 pounds. And it was just, I had plenty of power, get up to 80, 90 indicated easily. I haven't tried to max it out yet. It's going to be a while before I try that. Let the engine break in first. But it cruises along really comfortable on the freeway. It's astounding what they've done to such a small displacement bike. It rides like a bigger bike, just without the power. As far as the power goes, though, like I said, it's a huge mid-range. You don't need any more power than this bike. I mean, even with a passenger, people always justify, oh, I'm a heavier guy, or oh, I ride with a passenger a lot. It doesn't matter. The bike's got plenty of power. I haven't been left by a car yet at a light on it. Granted, it's only been 200 miles or so, or 180 miles, but I mean, you don't really need any more power than that. So if you're going to get a bigger bike, especially if you're starting out, just don't try to disguise it with excuses of why you need it, because you don't need it. I mean, I've been riding for years, and this bike is a blast. This is one of the most fun bikes I've ever ridden. I'm really glad I got it. If you guys have any questions or anything, feel free to shoot me a PM. I know I've not been real good about responding to things lately, but I'll be doing a little bit more riding on this thing now that it's out here. I've been waiting for it to come out for a while. The new 250, I didn't know it was going to be a 300, but anyway, so in summary, it's an excellent bike. You should go buy one.